Chapter 4. The radium treatment commenced. I took the morning off school to drive her to her first appointment, where she also received a schedule of treatments. It wasn't too painful after all. We went for a hamburger at the roadside cafe in which her twin had worked while she was at school. Just another day, the two of us, watching the traffic go about its business, but a sense of the surreal grinding away like the gears of the passing cars. She didn't want me to take any more time off school. There were ample offers for lifts to future appointments, although she was reluctant to impose on anyone. I felt as if I should insist, but I knew that she did not want to disrupt my life. There was always the bus, and the clinic was not very far from her father's house, she reasoned. I had to be content with the telephone, knowing that she was unlikely to complain. School kept me busy. Emma and Katrina were also busy with their work. Emma had started in a demanding job at TAFE, in which she was both writing and delivering the course. Katrina immersed in the dramas of the kitchen of a big hotel. A blessing, really. Immersion in another reality that helped to occupy our minds. Ella was at home with me and had just embarked on her first year of university, so I was also occupied, driving her to the railway station so that she could travel to uni and picking her up at night from her part-time job. Reports of the visits from Julie's friends and many old family friends assuring me that she was in good hands. Emma and Katrina moved from their father's house into a rental property on the beach in early February. I drove them there for the initial inspection and sat parked in the car while they considered their verdict. It was perfect. Set into the hill, it had a balcony that overlooked the beach, and it backed onto the bushy reserve of a headland. Best of all, it had a cellar area that would be big enough for Julia so that she could live there also. She was to remain at her father's house while she received her radium, but was excited at the prospect of moving in. At the time, our only visions were of the convenience of a residence that afforded them all ample privacy and space. Little did I know as I waited how that space would be used. It was to be the first time they had all lived together since they were teenagers. 3 bachelor girls was the original plan, but Emma picked up a partner on the way, and so there were to be 4 in residence. It was fun decorating. All the girls had accumulated many works of art and souvenirs during their years of travel, memories of past places and people. Julia's was stored at my place while she lived at her father's house. And then the news. The doctors were surprised. The melanoma had grown back at the exact point of the application of the radium. She took it in her stride, convinced of her future because now she had Jimmy by her side. There was a huge army beside her, in fact, an army of friends, all anxious to do anything they possibly could to provide support. What love and what joy they brought to Julia. Friends who shared desks from the first days of school, friends who shared teenage adventures, friends newly made, parents of friends, friends of parents who'd watched her grow and those she didn't know, wanting to support us all. A fundraiser was proposed and accepted, and the army went to work. It was a secret, so Julia was not to know. They kept her busy. There was an important wedding to attend, a couple of old travelling companions from her round Australia days, lunches and countless visits from the girlfriends, children in tow. The girlfriends and Katrina organised it all for the 6th of March and spread the word. An afternoon event with fantastic prizes for each and all, friends and their families and old folk, the cousins and aunt. Friends who had a lot of organising to get themselves there, who drove some distances with babies in the back seat. It was worth it all to see the joy on her face when Jimmy led her in on his arm into a backyard transformed into a wonderful place. The pain forgotten, the last thought on her mind. They turned on the lights and the music when it got dark, so that she can dance with us all on the deck. We were all astounded by how much was raised, by people's donations and the prizes, by the tickets they bought, their generosity overwhelming, the goodness of them. Nobody went home empty-handed. I didn't pay much attention at the time and was surprised the next day to learn that Auntie Katrina and I had won a 3-night stay at a beautiful bay 5 hours drive away. The resort owner connected by marriage to the neighbour who brought her children up as I brought up mine. And a prize for Julia too. 2 nights accommodation for she and Jimmy at the Marriott with some money to spend, given by the parents of a childhood friend. A romantic end to a wonderful day. A day to melt any negativity away. She bought me an elephant there. I had a small collection from places I've been, and also a Delft patent one that Julia had given me 6 months before. They live in my lounge room, little ones in a little herd with their trunks held high. My new one was made of green glass with silver inside and wild transparent ears. Something from somewhere she had been. People showed their support in other ways as well. There were no shortage of prayers. I teach in a Catholic high school, and the students and staff were quick to offer their prayers. Our journey became their journey, and in the following months there were many school assemblies and pastoral meetings in which Julia and my family were the focus of their thoughts. There is no question about the power of collective prayer, that concentration of human energy that buoys the spirit. 2010 was the year that Mary MacKillop came to the attention of the Australian public, the year of her canonisation, her name a buzzword on everyone's lips. I received a relic to pass on to Julia, who was touched and kept it under her pillow. I gave her a card in which I reminded her to pray for what she really needed, hoping that she would recall my words if things got tough. For me, it was the beginning of a constant mantra. Mary MacKillop, pray for us. Not a prayer to pursue a miracle, but a prayer asking for the help to know when and what to say, to know when to deliver hope and when to console when there was no hope. A prayer to remind me that as Julia's mother, my job was to guide and support. A prayer for both of us so that we could recognise where our strengths lay. A prayer to accept the unknown and a prayer for any time. A prayer to accept what I must. A short, sharp jab of reality.